I'm just gonna put the.
You want me to do the IG or no?
No, we could just do Twitter.
I think just Twitter is fine. I've got it. Yeah. So we are live now. All right, here we go. I'm gonna let a couple people join us.
Let's do it.
This shit feel like Game 7.
Game 7.
Put lines up through my S's. Wake up in the morning, count my blessings. Feel like heaven. This shit feel like Game 7. If I lose, then I'm going home. Is you gonna win or is you gonna fold? Just how the sun, I gotta get these goals. When I feel that pressure, that's when I bought the most. Sometimes it's hard to celebrate, cause all the shit we've been through just to elevate. Circle closed off in case they ever try to infiltrate. NBA bubble, we ballin', we staying safe. I'm higher than heaven's gates, moving at a different pace. And when it's all said and done, be the best to ever play. Hanging plaques on my wall, only time I decorate. Gotta watch out for snakes, cause they trying to eliminate. This shit feel like Game 7. Put lines up through my S's. Wake up in the morning, count my blessings.
Go ahead and get it going. So we are back, Money Down Live, Believe in Badgers live, collaboration podcast, first of many. So for the Money Down people who don't know me, I'm Matt. I host Believe in Badgers, and I also produce the Money Down. And if you're tuning in from the Believe in Badgers side, you damn sure already know who these guys are. Smooth Feet, Dub Herring, Sojourn Shelton. Three of my favorite people in the world. So yeah, let's talk Badgers, guys, because this was not the greatest start to the season that we could have asked for.
It was not pretty. Game one, I expected it to not be pretty. I mean, not that ugly is what we saw. But I'm glad they woke up at some point and it wasn't a one possession football game. You know, it took the Taway Walker, powerful run to finally give guys a little bit of energy, and that's what I think they needed. I thought the run game was effective. The pass game was more of the same from last year. I mean, I like what I saw from Van Dyke for the most part, aside from some of the red zone, the decisions that he made. He could have had like 2 or 3 interceptions in the red zone, so I hope he cleans that up. But thought he stood in the pocket, showed the arm strength. I thought they ran him way too much. I think that's what it was like more last year with Mordecai. When our offense was struggling, it turned into a Mordecai read option, QB draws on third down. So they got to get that figured out. Longo has to figure out whether it's the receivers, whether it's the quarterbacks not looking in the right place. Yeah, something's got to get it. Something's got to get right as far as the throwing game.
Yeah, I'm with James, man. I don't want to be too critical and overly critical because if James was on his own personal live not too long ago streaming, and I'm watching the game, I'm super critical, right? I'm screaming things, I'm saying stuff that probably shouldn't be saying this early on in the year, but man, we struggle a little bit on offense. It kind of was like what we saw a little bit last year, and I think that's what I was trying to key in a little bit and just see how we were going to react from last year's first game to this year's first game. It's kind of similar, a lot of the same struggles, but we got to make some big improvements, man, some big jumps. Just looking at the games that we have ahead, obviously, next week, you always want to take one game at a time, but with the Bamas and the Oregons, like we're gonna have to put some stuff together. I really want to understand, and we'll probably get a feel of it, once our OC has his press conference and as the weeks go on. But we gotta get these receivers open. What I'm saying? A lot of these teams are gonna start, stacking the box, and we have the guy, like James said, we have guys on the outside that can make plays. I would like to see more. I said Mordecai. I would like to see, Van Dyke run less and man, to get that ball in the air, man, get these guys opportunities.
Warren, one of the things that I want to see is them actually drive the ball downfield, because that was driving me. It's just everything was just underneath, and not trying to stretch them vertically at all.
You know what though? They did have some good drives. I mean, they put together a couple of good drives. You just couldn't cap it off at the end. So I mean, I think offensive line struggled a little bit early, but they got going as the game went along. As you can see, had some big runs from Ches Malusi and Tawee Walker. I really enjoyed watching Tawee Walker play.
Yeah.
He's a little bowling ball. Excuse me. He's a bowling ball. I want to say little bowling ball. No offense. But seeing him put some contact to people. They talked about that in the offseason about his physical ability, like being able to see him tote the rock, obviously late in the game and get us in the end zone. Ches, we knew what he was bringing, also being able to lower the shoulder and get physical. So we'd like to see the run game pick up a little bit sooner, especially with that being the bread and butter and what we do at Wisconsin. Yeah. But same thing on the pass. Same thing. I mean, on the opposite side, on the passing side, I mean, I think it's one of those things that we saw coming off of last year. It's one of our question marks, but I think I like Tyler Van Dyke and what he was able to do for what we were calling. A lot of the concepts that we had weren't really going downfield. But I like that he was able to get the ball out and be decisive. A couple of questionable decisions, with almost ending up in interceptions and whatnot. But still, he was decisive getting the ball out, and we didn't have that last year. Last year, I think we talked about it. We thought Tanner Mordecai was just patting the ball for too long. But now we got a guy that's leaving the pocket and also getting the ball out.
Matt, can I say this though? And James and Warren, I want to say you guys are optimistic. Obviously, it's game one, But as a fan, right? Like as Badger fans, when do we feel the pressure of like, bro, this is the same thing we saw last year? Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's a long season. You got to get guys into the flow of things, but I don't feel comfortable as a fan. You know what I'm saying? Just moving forward from today, again, a team that I'm not, no win in college football is ever easy. Right. I tell you that from playing, the LSUs and all the big time teams to, facing, the smaller school teams. Every team's going to give you their best shot. But against these, I guess, lesser opponents, it shouldn't be this hard for us to get the ball in the end zone. It shouldn't be this hard for us to cap off drives. Like we have better players. We got to step up, bro. I'm just calling it how we got to say it. Like I don't think as a Badger fan, you're comfortable at all with what the product that we're showing right now.
Yeah, I always say when it becomes consistently inconsistent, that's when you start to worry. So when we in game 2, game 3, game 4, and it's looking the same, that's a problem to me because I understand, first game struggles, but when it's consistently bad, yeah, man, it's gonna be a long season. And like I said, we have the talent. I mean, Will Paulin's the most consistent receiver. Sure. Kakahuna, he's solid. He's shown some flashes. I know on the kick returns, he got blown up a couple of times. And had
afraid. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's not afraid, 100%. But I think they need to get him more involved in offense. He's one of the more quick twitch guys. Kind of get him in space, get him going. I mean, that's what an air raid offense is all about: getting guys in space and letting them work. CJ Williams saw he had like the one drop early in the game. Need to see more from him. Get Bryson Green more involved. We just need to see find the routes that these guys run well and let them run them. Like find what they do good and do it. I'm not sure if these guys are running guys off and then I don't know. Like it's hard to see from like the TV copy what's really going on down the field when the quarterback's eyes are in the wrong spot or guys just aren't getting open at all. Whether he's just waiting for a perfect pitcher. I'm not exactly sure, but I love for them to be more consistent. I'm gonna give them some grace.
Yeah, like Ryan said here in the chat.
Deja vu.
Deja vu. I think this is what we were saying in the group chat all night. It was just like it's like watching a lot of the same struggles that we saw last year. Like inconsistent. Like they're moving the ball, but then they're getting stuck in the red zone. We saw red zone struggles a lot, and that's really frustrating to work. I mean, y'all know better than me to work 14, 15, 16 plays, get down to the red zone, and miss a field goal. Like that is deflating.
Yeah, and in the red zone. I always say that's when you got to be at your best. That's when OC you got to shine. You got to call your best stuff. In the red zone, defenses run certain stuff. You're not just calling anything in the red zone. They probably run 3 or 4 calls in the red zone. And you should be able to scheme it up, figure it out, get some checks, get some adjustments. Look like Phil Longo was expecting man coverage. He was trying to run some man beaters. Them shits ain't work. They're running crossers and all that. It ain't work. So you got to figure it out with draw it up on the sideline, switch it up some. Get guys open, scheme it up. That's really where you got to execute. I mean, a lot of time I feel like their game plan was they thought they were going to dominate the line of scrimmage, going to be able to run the ball into the end zone. Yep. And they ain't quite like we were able to get it all the way down there. We got in the red zone and we end up 3rd and 6 from the 6-yard line. It's like, oh fuck, I ain't really drawing no shit up for this. Like that type of thing. So you got to be prepared for those type situations. You really, whether it's about the player's execution or it's the play calling, it's got to be tied in together 100%.
And I think, go ahead, Warren. I was gonna say that the play they drew for the 2-point conversion.
Yeah,
I mean, bro, that was
beautiful.
Great scheme. Getting some distraction with Will Pauling,
Will on the,
and then finding Trek in the back of the end zone. Like, you do that earlier in the game. Like, get points on the board. Like, we're struggling to score right now. Like, we get in the red zone. We can't play. You know what I'm saying? We didn't score the first drive. Second drive, that's when you run that. You call it. I mean, you pull it out. People are still watching Will Pauling, trying to figure out what he's doing. You get him out into the flat. They think you're going to give him the ball. Like, you run that earlier. You don't wait till second 2-point conversion.
The 2-point conversion. And I said that, James, earlier when we were just talking about the game, is like, I'm just trying to understand, like, why does it seem like it's so hard to get these guys open? And I mean, we play college ball, right? Like you said, probably thinking you're gonna face a lot of man-to-man coverage, which it kind of, it's kind of hard to tell when you don't have that over, like you're watching on TV copy versus, like the film copy. But just it shouldn't be this hard to get the weapons that we do have open. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously people are gonna key on Will, but everybody else are gonna be getting those one-on-one looks where, bro, you gotta go win. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what I want to see, the improvement. And what we saw that. You saw the comment earlier just now where it's like, it feels like deja vu but I literally remember us last year talking about these same comments, like figuring out what route this guy runs, best. If it's a 15-yard dig, if it's a comeback, you know what I'm saying? It's a goal ball, whatever it is. At this point, we should know, like, right? Like, all right, James, he's this guy. We got to get him on these type of routes. Warren, we got to get him on overs, double moves. So we got to get him on X, Y, and Z. I just think for our staff to be together and our offense, obviously new pieces, but we should know what guys' strengths are, and we should be working this stuff now, because we're not gonna have time 2 weeks from now, right? Like, right. We got the big boys coming in town. Yeah. So I just want to see us get stuff rolling earlier, man. We got to get it rolling earlier.
Yeah, good question here from Kyle on Twitter, and he asked, "Is it our receivers not being able to separate, or our O-line not providing enough time to throw downfield?" That's a good question. I thought the pass protection for the most part today was better than we saw last year. If there was like one or two things that were markedly improved, I thought the pass protection was markedly improved. What did we see? 1 sack, I think, of Tyler Van Dyke, and that was, that was a coverage sack, because the only read he had was way back to his right when he was looking left. So I think, for the most part, the pass pro is pretty good. So I think that it's got to be a combination then of is it scheme? Is it like and right guys in right positions kind of thing?
That's what I believe. It's either scheme, quarterbacks waiting for guys to be wide open, where sometimes they're not going to be wide open. You just got to let it rip. I saw like one comeback they showed in the replay with CJ Williams. Like, he didn't get a crazy amount of separation, but it's definitely a ball that Van Dyke can let rip, throw it low to the outside, right by the sideline, where your receiver, that's the only place he can get it, and the DB can't get to it. You got to make them type of throws sometimes. I thought at times, in the second half, it seemed like Van Dyke was waiting for the perfect picture to kind of throw the ball. He's holding it, just like on the fumble where he's trying to scramble, has the ball low, all type of things. Like, it's third and 19 or some shit. I don't know, third and 15.
Yeah, third 19.
Just throw it away, or if you're gonna run, tuck it and run. Kind of be decisive. I think that's a huge thing, and I'm sure that stemmed from the first half. They weren't really having any chemistry throwing the football, so he's like, all right, I'm trying to make a play here. I'm gonna wait for somebody to get open. And then you end up doing some BS and fumbling the ball, almost tricking the game off. So, yeah, it's tough. I said I'm glad we got that little muff punt that really saved us.
That's
turned
the tide for sure.
It's unfortunate that's what it took. That's what it took in this football game. But hey, it's football, man. It's hard to come by these wins. Like, I understand it was Western Michigan, but I said I was telling Souls when I was doing my live stream on the game, it's like we've been in these similar tight games, and we was playing like. We played Northern Iowa. Warren had to swat some shit down on fourth down for us to win, a third down, whatever it was. Like, we've been in them type situations, so we can't say like we've never been in this same exact position. So that's all I'll say from a fan perspective. We've seen this movie before. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. and sometimes you have those games, like, right. We last year we talked about our slow start, right. We kind of got that a little bit this first game. We got that little bit of a slow start. Now we got one more week of that. Yeah. Like, you might be able to get away with that with South Dakota State, but you're not getting away with that with Bama. Like, we gotta, pick some things up, fine tune a couple more things, get better in the passing game before we hit week 3. Not trying to jump too far, but I mean, it's reality.
It's reality.
What I would love to see more from the offense is we're not hitting more down the field shots. Like, where are some more of these RPOs? Whether it's the run game is effective, so hey, RPO him, linebacker step up, hit Will Paul and cross the middle. The linebacker steps up. He don't step up, hand it to the running back, or RPO bubble screens. Get the ball to your playmakers in space. Let them do that. Let them work that way, and then maybe you get some of those down the field shots. You fake the bubble screen, hit somebody up the sideline. Scheming up that way. If guys can't get open, hey man, it's OC, you gotta come with it. It's unfortunate, but man, it's on you at that point. You know your personnel, and everybody looking at you. If nobody can go out there and make plays.
Go ahead, Soj.
And that's what it's kind of for me. It's like it's kind of hard to, and I'm not putting this all on our OC. It's a mixture of everything, but it's one of those things to me where I don't understand. Is like you right? We're thinking we're getting man coverage. When you're getting man coverage, obviously is money on the outside. Guys got to stick, but the inside being able to the run lane should be a little bit more open. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not having as many people in the box. So it in my mind is one or the other, right? You're either gonna stop the run or you're gonna stop the pass. So if you get that man-to-man coverage, we should be picking up more yards in the run game to get more guys in the box, and that's where the RPOs and stuff come into factor. So I think it's scheme too. Like we gotta take advantage of what defense are giving us. If they're gonna play man coverage, cool. We're gonna run the ball all day, and I'm fine with that. When you start bringing those guys in the box, guys on the outside, now y'all gotta win. Y'all gotta win the one-on-ones. Y'all gotta get separation, and we gotta get the ball moving down the field.
Yeah. I was a little bit surprised though that Ches got 19 carries. I thought that was a lot for him coming off of injury. I expected to see probably. I mean, Tawi still got 15 carries. I'm a little surprised they didn't try to hand it to Aker a couple of times. We saw him in the backfield. We saw a little bit of Yakimelli as well. I'm surprised Aker didn't at least get a couple of those, sort of tougher inside run handoffs. But they did. One of the things that I did notice offensively was you could see some like really stark contrast in the personnel groupings from one drive to the next. You saw them going a lot of 12 in the first half, and then we saw 20 a lot in the second half when they would have the combination of what they have Aker and Malusi together. They had Yakimelli and Walker together at a couple of different times. So I did like to see that. I guess that was sort of like the one other thing that I saw in offense. I was like, okay, this is something that I think that they can definitely build on. Let's flip over though to the defense for now, because it was definitely an up and down output. The big question coming in is how are they going to be up front with James Thompson, being out for the season? And that is, Warren, I don't think we've talked about this yet anywhere online, but bro, just, you've been down to those trenches. How much of a blow is that for that unit to have their leader, their number one guy go down, a week before the season starts?
Yeah, it's tough. He had a lot of good production last year, did a lot of good things. And so that's some big shoes to fill. We had a couple of transfers come in. I want to say Elijah Hills. Is that his name? Elijah Hills, 94. I liked him. He had a lot of jump off the ball, a lot of snap. Got him a sack today. Obviously it came toward the end of the game, but it was at a crucial point. We needed it for momentum. But you'd like to see our guys be a lot tougher up front. These are guys that played last year. They have experience. What the pace of the game is going to be like. Like there's no excuse. I think we played a little soft up front with our front three, when we were in our 3-3-5, and then also when we switched over to that 2-4-5, like our middle two guys, I just felt like we got washed a lot. Anything, stretch motion or anything like that, I just felt like guys were getting knocked out of their gaps, right? So I just think we need to do a better job of just being strong up front, holding, being gap sound. And then our outside backers, I think, played a pretty good game. I really like seeing Leon Lowry up front, getting some pressure on the queue. Like to see a little bit more of that throughout the game. More than one sack would be nice. But and I'm a little tough up front just because I've been there. But I really enjoy seeing our backers too. Backers flying around. Jaheim Thomas was really nice to watch. Jake Chaney, we knew what we were gonna get. He's a playmaker. He's a baller. He's flying all over the field. So I really like the defense. Our secondary is strong, and I let Soj talk about that. But secondary is very strong. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I don't think the defense played that bad. Now, obviously, we could get more pressure. Obviously having one sack, we could probably get a little bit more pressure on the QB or QB hits. But to only give up 14 points, and then really, I want to say 7 of those came from the strip. I guess when he fumbled it or it was a sack or whatever. So to only really give up 14 points. You can't you can always get hard on yourself. You can always say, we could do this better. But I mean, 14 points in today's college football game, man. You got to be satisfied, with that production. Obviously, you can do a little bit of things better. But that's what week 2 is for. Get in the film room, figure out what it is, that you want to fine tune on, and get rolling for next week.
Yeah, I thought the defense played solid. I loved in the first half, and then kind of in that third quarter for them to be a little bit better in the run defense. I thought some of the holes were a little too open, going up against a Western Michigan offense, but I thought they tightened up. Guys started to get better run reads, get off blocks, read the runs a little bit better. Chaney was, fitting the runs, whether it's not just running side to side, really high behind the defensive front, backdooring it and wrapping dudes up. Because I thought in the first half there's a lot of missed tackles in open space where it was third down, first down, then it kind of shored up. So that comes along with it. You ain't gonna tackle much in fall camp and all that. You may have a couple live periods. So when it comes to the tackling and the run fits, it's gonna take a little bit of an adjustment period. But I'm glad they tightened it up in the second half, big fourth down stop and all that, and really shifted things to really close out the game. So I like what I saw from the defense. Xavier Lucas, got to get him out on the field more. Great play out there.
For sure.
One-handed pick, get both feet in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. I love to see him out there on the field, a lot more. But the secondary definitely did their thing. Ricardo doing this thing, they didn't even throw it his direction, whatsoever, all game long. So those other guys definitely going to have to come with it. If they're not throwing it his direction, y'all going to see a lot of work. So just make sure y'all prepared, ready to go, and ready to make plays.
I'm interested to see how long we stay in the 2-4-5, because we were able to run that a lot in the past, but I also feel like our outside backers were way more physical, so they were able to handle those tight end tackle combos or being able to handle that tackle alone on the edge. So I'm interested to see what we do, whenever teams start spreading it out, if we stick to that or if we move to something else. But I don't know if that's going to work long term. To be honest, especially with how we was playing in the middle with our bigger guys. Or with our D lineman, with our interior, I think we might need to switch something up a little bit.
Warren, do you see Kyle's question? He said, how big of a disadvantage is a 2-4-5 for the run defense? I mean, if you want to elaborate on it, you can kind of.
Oh, for sure. Like we saw today. I mean, we weren't as physical as we could have been, as we should have been, and so you could see the disadvantage. I mean, and we're playing Western Michigan, right? Hats off to Western Michigan. They played a tough game.
Credit.
But you're going against teams in the Big Ten that play power football, have bigger boys up front, like. Unless your 2 interior linemen and your 2 outside backers that you have on the edges are just dominant, strong, physical, like it's not going to work, So it's something that, guys are going to have to get stronger. If we're going to do it, they're going to have to find some people on the interior that are going to be able to be solid and strong up front, stay gap sound, and make a difference, reset the line of scrimmage. But from today, from what I've seen, I don't know if it's going to be sustainable.
Yeah,
what I do like though is our ability to just give different looks, and
for sure.
James on on offside of ball. That's all it is. A lot of stuff is disguise, getting quarterbacks to just think that those 1 or 2 seconds to just throw them off. So us being able to switch between the 3-3-5, 2-4, just being able to switch with all these different fronts and looks in the back end, I think in the long run will help us. Game 1, right? A lot of that same thing on the offense side of the ball, defense, playing on the defense side. Me and Warren, we'll be able to tell you like a lot of that stuff is, getting adjusted to the speed and, not going against what we've been facing all, camp, which is our guys. Now we actually, it's real and you got different guys, you're facing different opponents. A lot of that stuff is just getting a feel for it. So, I don't want to get too critical on, some of the gaps that were, that the lanes that might have been open or, some of the missed tackles. That's going to come with it, but down the road, you got to get better. And I think we will.
I think one guy we got to talk about though is Hunter Wohler, a standout again. I mean, he's special, man. He's big. I think this is I don't know if it's quite the right comparison, like NFL wise at the next level, but like I could see a world where he fills out more and turns into a Brian Urlacher type of guy because he's so solid tackling over the middle. You're asked to do so much athletically as an off-ball linebacker at this point in time in the NFL. I could see him being someone who could fit that mold really well.
Yeah, he almost reminded me like a Harrison Smith type. Physical. So he can play a pass, he play the run, go make sure he get guys on the ground. Yeah, shout out to him. He's him, Ricardo. Those are the leaders in the defense. He played really effective tonight, and hopefully, he's a guy who I really think sets the tone for the team. I'm sure he'll come in after this game. They'll be like, look, man, hey, defense, we gave up some stuff. We tightened up in the second half, but as the weeks go on, we got to sharpen it up through all 4 quarters, which, like I said, is not going to be perfect, every single football game. So I like what I saw from him. And when it comes to the 2-4-5 defense for me, I don't have a problem with it. Guys just got to be able to get off blocks. It's going to be some one-on-one blocks, linebackers. You can't get, galloped on by the offensive lineman when they get up to the second level. You got to be able to shed blocks and make tackles like almost while you're shedding those blocks. So I think as long as you're able to mix up the schemes, mix up the looks, and you're able to shed those blocks, you may not always have to be not the most physical, but if you can, play some finesse with it, get off blocks, make those guys miss, then I think it'll work. But I think they'll vary it, depending on what offense they face.
I don't, like you said, I don't, like I said, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. It's just, we're seeing the same things that we saw last year whenever we ran the 2-4-5, or, it's just one of those things that, like, if it's not working, you got to figure something else out. For me, I'd like to see like more of a 3-3-5, that 3-3-5 over, bring a bigger body in to play like, tight end side, strong side, and have one of those outside backers play the backside, right? But bring some more physicality up front if we're not getting that, out of the 2-4-5 when we start playing these bigger teams. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. We just got to be able to function in it.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? I was just thinking, just right here, like, I feel like some of it's giving our guys looks, right? Because we have teams coming into the Big Ten that hasn't played that style of football. Oregon, USC, UCLA. So I feel like these are the times where you get that look, so that when you do play those type of teams and you want to switch it up, instead of it just being a traditional 3-3-5 over and bigger guys, Iowa running the ball, half of the game, you're gonna face teams where you're talking about 80% of the game, Oregon, for example, that ball gonna be through the air, right? So we got to be able to switch it up. So I kind of see, where the coaches are, this is where you get those looks at right now.
Yeah.
But we're just gonna have to wait and see. I mean, you can't really compare, Western Michigan and Oregon, so you can get the looks now, and hopefully when you do run it, it just fall and work out for you.
Can you pop up that question from Dom talking about that fake field goal?
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
James was mad about that.
I was hot about that because just the last possession, they missed a field goal. So you should be on high alert for a damn fake. Like that one kind of pissed me off. And
especially it was like a 50-yarder. Like, I'm not going to attempt that. Like, everyone knew that it was going to be. I was.
And they almost let him score. Like, I thought Chaney really fit that bad, man. He fit it like it was a run play, like in the open field, like somebody, like, dude,
trying to box it.
Trying to box it. Boy, you better go make a miss and go get the kicker on the ground. Ain't no damn running back. Like, go knock that.
Take your shoot your shot.
Go knock that motherfucker out. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
I mean, like, and then not to mention, like, you're also playing, again, no offense, but you're playing Western Michigan. You got a team that's trying to prove something. They ain't got nothing to lose. They in a hostile environment. Like, some of that stuff happens. You start playing a team that, isn't in the Big Ten conference or in a smaller conference, and they're playing a big name team. Like, they're going to start pulling out tricks and stuff like that. So you got to be ready.
One thing I will always say is it is always easy, to go back and look and say, like,
for sure.
Because I didn't know it was that far. I didn't know it was a 50-yard field goal, right?
It was a long ass one.
It was a long field goal, right? So I mean, that should be a alert that fake situation. But I think when you get in these games, man, and it's a lot of pressure on you. Like, again, a team that you're supposed to be blowing out, you're really in a dogfight with. You're mind running and everything, man. You're just trying to if anything, just try to block field goal. But we gotta have better awareness for sure. Awareness for sure.
And I was gonna say, even when we were playing, bro, like, we talked about that. Even when we played lesser teams, like, it was always watch the fake alert. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still gotta obviously take care of your responsibilities. But even with a team like that, they would always tell us in special teams meeting, watch the fake.
Yeah. This is my own that he literally just missed the possession before from a shorter distance. So that's my only reason when it comes to that. I know it's a lot of stuff going on, close game. You ain't thinking, you probably tired. You ain't quite in game shape yet. So you try to take a little play off, then boom, they come to fake. You know what I'm saying? So, but they just got to tighten it up, man. Like, not going to be too overly critical on the guys, though, man.
No,
so week one, like I said, I'm glad they tightened it up in the second half. Would love for the offense to get some more consistency as far as throwing that football. You can't be. I know you can run the football from the spread and everything like that, but to do that, you've got to be able to throw the ball on a consistent basis. Been saying that since last year. I said I think the quarterback did a solid job. Red zone offense has to be a lot better from him as well. Like whether it's scheme, receivers, everybody, I would love for that to be better. But to get another opportunity next week, South Dakota State. I said another great opportunity to get kind of warmed up because it's going to be hot. In 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be real hot. So
we got 3. That's home next week, right?
Mm-hmm. 3 in a row at home.
The thing, when have we ever opened up with 3 home games right away? That's
love.
Yeah, that's love, man. Got to take advantage of home field advantage and get that record going.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's get out of here on a high note. What was the best thing you saw, or what was your favorite takeaway from this game that gives you the most hope going forward?
Yeah, I love to see it too. I'm biased, obviously. Crib product, South Florida, man, came down there, and then also just being his first game. When I just seen that pick, it just kind of took me back to when I was a freshman, right? My first game in the camp, first career start. I caught an interception, and then for him his was way doper than mine. One hand out of bounds, pulling in 2 feet in. That's the type of stuff that you want to see for the guys. But the secondary, like you said, Hunter, him flying around, just making plays. Obviously, Rico not getting as much work. He's a top corner. He's gonna, be in games like that where, you might only get 3-4 passes your way. You got to be able to stay locked in. And I just think this is overall just getting these guys, together and ready, for these big games that we got coming ahead. Because a lot of teams that we are going to be playing are going to be teams that's going to be letting it go through the air. And, that's when the communication and all that stuff, that camaraderie, that's where you got to, build this. This is where you build these games so that, when you get there later on, the communication and stuff is easy and everybody's running 100 miles an hour. So, I'm just happy with the way the secondary came out game 1, and let's keep building off of it.
My favorite thing was that Tyway Walker touchdown run. I think that really set the tone for the game going forward. I know I'm a back, so I'm a favorite of backs too, but I don't think there was really much energy from the offensive side of the ball until that really happened. He got hit probably like 2, 3, 4 yard line. Ran through that shit, ran through like 2 more people. So I think that really set the tone. Love to see that more, going forward and really getting the juice going offensively. I know even when we played, we didn't really have too much juice offensively, but make a play like that, bring some juice. Maybe that opens up the passing game a little bit more, but you put that on tape, man. That's tough, man. Them DBs, them linebackers, they see that. They don't want none of that smoke. So that was great. I love to see that.
I'm going to big boy. I really enjoy watching that sack. Like if you go back and watch the replay, like just the progression of him, first move didn't work, got to the elbow, didn't work, but then to be able to club across, continue to fight through pressure, hand in his face, and then be able to end up with a sack, like that's tough. So Elijah Hill, shouts out, boy. Keep going.
Yeah, man.
And the Selly, man, we seeing you blow the money. Money down, whatever it is. Y'all got
baby.
Make plays, you get paid, boy. Keep it up.
Like Warren was saying, that's the energy that you got to come with. You see it on Sundays, guys like TJ Watt, all these guys, man. When you make a play, bro, celebrate with your teammates. Little stuff like that get guys going, man. Sometimes you always sometimes you just need one person to make a play and turn the team up. And that's a snowball effect, and everybody start feeling it. So, moving forward, man, y'all make plays, man. Whatever it is, first down, do your little, first down celebration.
Run everybody.
We ain't talking about Travis Hunter level of celebration because you may not get that in the Big Ten. They might throw that yellow thing in the pocket. But keep it, celebrate, enjoy.
Yeah, celebrate.
What I'm saying?
Yeah, bring some energy, dog. That shit is contagious. As my dog Jarvis Landry said in Hard Knocks a few years ago, the shit contagious. You know what I'm saying? And the energy rub off on everybody. So that's what I love to see. Keep that energy going forward, no matter who you playing. That shit hard to make plays, whether it's Western Michigan, South Dakota State. That shit tough. When you out there, you only got a few opportunities throughout the year. Enjoy that shit. Celebrate, have fun, all that.
Absolutely. Well, we've had fun here tonight. Breaking down the game. Might have to do it again. Who knows? So you can make sure that you are tuning in and subscribe to the Money Down on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get podcasts, you can get the Money Down. What's up, Soj?
Nah, what's the best thing you saw, my man?
Come on now.
No, the best thing I saw, it was a little thing. 37 dropbacks, 1 snap, and honestly, it didn't feel like a ton of pressures. I felt like the offensive line did a much better job than they did last year, keeping him upright. Now, I have said this probably in like every show I did leading up to the season that like if they can keep him upright, that allows Van Dyke to push it downfield. We didn't see him push it downfield, so at least we know that they can keep him upright long enough to push it downfield. I think I think that they can. Now he just has to have the confidence in his receivers and be on the same page with those guys, because I think there probably were opportunities, but we just didn't see him really get the chance.
Coach him up, Pert. Coach him up.
Coach Pert.
Gotta keep the QB safe in that. Man, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, that was the biggest thing I saw, and that's what I want to see continued improvement on the offensive line. Like this offensive line is going to really dictate the offense, even the passing game, because there's only so much you can do underneath DePauling and Tretch, right? Yeah. If you can't throw to the second and third level, I mean, so do you know that as well as anyone? If you're not as scared of a guy beating you over top, like your job's a lot easier.
And I mean, I don't know if we got to go soon, but it's so crazy. Like from a DB standpoint, I would love to see them get Will more in motion and those type of things. And we know it. Like we played a video game. That's so hard to stop in man coverage, zone coverage. When you get a guy in motion, moving, you also see what coverages you can get. Right? It's I tell people all the time. It's not many coverages you can see. If it's too high, you either in some type of cover 2-man cover 4, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then if you're in 1 high, you're the 3 or 1. Obviously you can move different disguise and stuff like that. But I think Will is that star piece that if we can get him in motion and get him on different, mismatches and different levels, then we can get the defense, defenses to open up a little bit more, because you can get those little dinks and dunks, 10 yards, 5 yards, whatever the cases may be with him. It's going to open up so much more on the outside. So, I mean, we got some work to do, but I think game 1 we'll get there. I'm hopeful we'll get there.
I think I've got probably a more faith in the defense to get there, just because I think the back 5 are so strong. Yeah. I think I think we saw Preston Zachman have a couple missteps here and there. But besides that, I mean, I thought they played great. I thought Max Lofi was a star in the slot. I thought he played really well in the slot in his first career start.
Very well.
Yeah. Shout out to that secondary, man. I said building blocks.
Yeah. Building blocks. Well, and we knew Fickle was going to build this defense back to front.
100%.
And it is, defensive line is the hardest position to recruit. And especially like Warren, like if someone's bringing you in, like it's not really sexy to like play 2 gap and like just hold up a bunch of blockers, right? You don't really want to.
But what I will say, playing 2 gap is a lot of fun. You got a 2-way go, bro. I mean, feeling overreaches and stuff like that. Like you got an offensive lineman that's reaching hard to be able to have the go ahead to play backside or to jump it, bro. I mean, I enjoy playing 2 gap defense. Like 1 gap, playing gap sound, I got to stay in my B gap the whole way, yada, yada, yada. That's cool. You hit your gap, get as much knockback as possible. But to be able to play both ways, I think it helps you and allows you to make more plays as a defensive lineman. You just have to take advantage. You got to stay square. If you're going to do it, you got to stay square. We did a lot of shoulder turning and trying to run with the lineman, and can't be doing that.
Got to be thick in the ass to do that.
Hey, quick feet, thick in the ass. Hey, violent hands.
Keys to success right there.
You hear me?
I mean, just look at Aaron Donald.
And eyes, bro. You gotta be able to see what's going on.
Yeah,
gotta be able to see what's going on.
100%, man.
This was dope, man.
It's dope, man. We're gonna do this more often. Hopefully, you guys like it, man. Shout out to Perk for organizing this whole thing, man.
Believe.
Y'all tap into the Believe in Badgers podcast, the Money Down podcast.
Oh, I just seen them.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Perk, every chance I get, man, I always just try to tell Perk how thankful we are. I just peeped the Believe time, the Money Down, like, oh, man, you next level with all the edits and all that stuff like that. You make everything go, man, and we appreciate you. So.
Yes, sir. Definitely appreciate Perk, man.
Well, I appreciate y'all, and I think the comments seem to appreciate us here tonight. So we
appreciate the comments.
We appreciate everyone tuning in. Yep, keep them coming. Keep subscribing, liking, rating, reviewing everywhere you are. Lots of dope content coming across both channels this week and more. So appreciate y'all tuning in. And until next time, on Wisconsin.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Dirty
get
dubs.
it.